too small, I got big dreams.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Punfun, where we have fun with the puns. My name is Ryan, and Giuliano's going to be with us in the following episodes to come. So we're going to take a look at the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you have not yet seen it, massive spoiler alerts ahead. So we're going to get into it. We're going to start off where we left off, actually, where Carly is taking over the GRC meeting regarding the Patch Act. And again, Patch is a nickname given to Wolverine, and we've seen a few Easter eggs scattered throughout the series kind of, pointing to his directions. So hopefully we do get, the Wolverine, and definitely, they do a few callbacks to these moments. So we see Sharon and Bucky in New York. She's actually using the face mask technology that Natasha used a while back to kind of be an undercover spy during the meeting with Nick Fury and the secretary, to infiltrate Hydra. So in this case, she's kind of maybe infiltrating the Flag Smashers. What I don't get is why hasn't she used this technology before? Then again, maybe she has. We just don't know it yet, or maybe haven't paid attention to past series or past events. Anyways, so we things are spiraling out of hand. Everybody's being evacuated, and we see Batroc coming in, getting exactly what he requested, which was a big brawl with not Falcon anymore, but Captain America and his new suit. He even says it to this dude who walks up. He's like, "Oh, hey, aren't you Falcon?" He's like, "No, I'm Captain America." And he's like, "Well, isn't Captain America on the moon?" So again, a callback to I think the first episode where they announced or figured that for whatever reason Captain America is on the moon. But yeah, so he comes in, new suit, and it is an exact copy from the comics, which is just great, and it's so well done, well rendered. I mean, this is we're seeing the Wakanda technology to a whole different level. Now he has his 2 red wings rather than just 1. He also has his shield that can go on his back, but all of the gizmos and devices, and even that little laser beam we see that cuts through the armored truck hand thingamajig that locks it up. Definitely some cool tech coming from, I guess, Shuri in this case. So we see Batroc coming in, having his big brawl with Sam, and it's kind of ironic. Like, we start off with Steve. When we first see Batroc, we see him fighting Steve, so fighting a Captain America, and again, this is one of his last fights, and it ends with another Captain America once again. So this is huge brawl, Anyways, we're not going to go into details. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've appreciated it as well. Later on, we see Carly talking about the hostages. So now the hostages have been taken to a different location. They're kind of also whispering the, one world, one people, mantra, which is kind of like the Hail Hydra, if you think about it. And again, we did give that duality to, or that reference from Red Skull and what the Flag Smashers are doing. So again, they're using their influence to basically eradicate, certain people, or to implement, if you will, a certain way they think things should be. But anyways, we're not going to get into that. She says, hey, one world, and there's a moment of silence between her and the other Flag Smashers. They realize she's really crossing, that line of, well, I think she's done it a long time ago, but they're no longer amongst her, ideology. They're kind of backing away, and they do kind of get forced to say, one people, but you can see that they're already seeing her in a different shade of, whatever mask, she's wearing. Well, I guess, no, she's basically being unmasked for once, and then I guess they're seeing her true colors. So we get this crazy, Sam just goes crazy, saves everybody, saving the police, saving, every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So Bucky comes in full throttle on his motorcycle, the same way that Steve, dismounts off the motorcycle, sacrifices the bike, and basically jumps on his opponent, face first. This is when he goes and he attacks the, not the Quinjet, but one of the jet fighters leaving the compound, and Bucky here jumps on to fight one of the Flag Smashers, and who joins the fight but Captain 2.0 with his 5-minute craft shield. So his little DIY shield actually holds up just a tiny bit. Then Carly smashes it. It gets kind of mangled in the fights. However, there is a scene where he is being piled on by the Flag Smasher, kind of like when Hulk got kind of piled on. But just to take it a step further, behind his shield is where he has one of his badge of honor. That is a if we were to again talk about duality with Captain Steve Rogers and Captain John Walker, Steve had his moral compass, and he actually had the physical compass with the picture of Peggy inside, whereas John Walker's moral compass is his badge of honor. So while being under attack, that's where he focuses and channels who am I, what am I doing, and he's honoring again that badge of honor. He unleashes kind of I guess he hulks out a bit, he gets a little crazy, definitely focuses and fights, and that's where we get into the armored truck being carried off by Carly off the ledge. It's about to fall, and Bucky sees it from afar. He's trying to figure out how do I stop this, who else comes up to save the day but Captain 2.0. So kind of like Fantastic Four style, where the Thing pulls back the fire truck. In this case, we have Captain 2.0 even dumping his shield and giving it his all, trying to pull back the armored truck to safety. However, he gets bum rushed and ambushed by the other Flag Smashers, and it's unfortunate that he didn't get that moment to redeem himself, and they all kind of fall and end up where Bucky is, and that's where our new Captain America comes in with the new Red Wings, pushing alongside him, kind of when Tony Stark, helps push the boat with multiple of these jets or tinier jets, pushing and leveraging a bit for him. So he's definitely a new man, new suit, and this is kind of like a mishmash of the Iron Man / Captain America, because he not only he depends on the suit, but obviously for morality and his moral compass, as we see later on, is up there amongst Captain America's standard. We then have Carly running away with her Flag Smashers, trying to get away from the new Captain America, from Bucky, and also from Captain 2.0. So they end up splitting, and they go into this like weird warehouse. Anyways, who ends up finding her but Sharon Carter, who Carly then explains and exposes as the power broker. So, we've mentioned this before. This is an Easter egg that a prediction that we've been trying, toying with, and it was kind of clear, but again, she's a character with a lot of layers. So, who's to say who is who? Even now, Carly may know her as the power broker, but maybe somebody else higher might be power broker. But I think it's pretty clear now. I think like Marvel has established, this is going to be, not only is she powerful in terms of her knowledge and the way, she's an agent of, high standards, high class, but she's also going to be now, we're going to get into that, and what level of access of information she's going to get. But she basically, kills Carly. She also kills Batroc, who, then knows that this is the actual power broker. So there is no evidence, or I guess people that actually know who the power broker is, or if anybody does, they're either working for her or working, in a way that they wouldn't really know who she is, or who the power broker is rather. So again, R.I.P. to Batroc, R.I.P. to Carly Morgenthau, where we get Sam giving, his speech to the members of the GRC, and we also get, finally, Sam gets to speak up. Before he was very quiet. He kind of, obeyed, gave the shield when needed. Even his speech was just kind of like, okay, well, here it is. But he's finally, speaking up. This, the experience that Isaiah Bradley had to face, the whole, his own journey because of his sister, seeing what she had to go through. So not just being a super soldier, but also a regular human being in an MCU, or just in general. And then he says that he's a black man, but he's also carrying the stars and stripes, and he's finally feeling not only deserving but also honored to hold that ranking, and kind of show everybody like he's gonna have haters. And even all these posts and forums already have like people kind of hating on what's going on or how is it and turning out. But what are you gonna do? Like, this is how progression happens, and it's great that he there is somebody that is there for anybody that feels that they can identify with Sam. So he goes in and he says his whole spiel about like you guys can control borders, and you guys can definitely who exactly is being accountable, all the labels like terrorists and thug and all that, like all that should be eliminated and removed. And he goes ahead and he mentions Thanos. So he doesn't mention him by name, but he mentions somebody who wanted half the universe gone. So we know who that person is. He also mentions a god, an insane god, if you will. So definitely Thanos gets a shout out, and I guess he will throughout the MCU, carrying going forward, because he did cause a lot of damage that everyone was implicated in and is still feeling the repercussions of. So we're taken to a scene with Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, and basically she's giving Captain 2.0, so John Walker, his new suit. So it's the same red and white stripes, but now with a black contour, or black suit basically, which is the US agent, as we've mentioned before, and we called it out. But also she calls it out, and calls him out and said, hey, you are now proclaimed the US agent, which he jumps for joy and all that jazz. It's kind of like also with SHIELD, when you were said that you were a SHIELD agent, everyone was kind of happy, but in reality you were kind of working for Hydra, or at least on the lines of you didn't know you were working for Hydra. So I think this is kind of the mind games that she's going to play with Walker as well. He definitely has some valiant. He definitely has honor still in him, trying to be the hero, but he might, not know that he's working for the wrong set of people. What really pushes the Thunderbolts initiative is the fact that she says, oh, I may or may not be involved with what happened to make Zemo, all happy and snug in the raft. When his butler basically blows up the van carrying the last quote unquote flag smashers. So she says she may be implemented or not. We know that in the Thunderbolts, Zemo is actually a big part of that too. So the fact that they may have also already be in cahoots, that's definitely a bigger nod to the Thunderbolts happening, or at least they're pushing towards a formulation or a team up at some point. So now, as it is a finale, there's a lot of loose ends being tied up. So we've been presented with Bucky and his therapy, also with his book, crossing off all those names. He finally comes to term and finally crosses off the last name on his book. He even gives it to his therapist, which I think is a great way of showing I think this is a great stepping stone for him to really move on. He's giving her the last remaining piece of the Winter Soldier, and now he can finally progress being Bucky, or the White Wolf, if you will. So will Bucky have his moment with Wakanda? I think he will. I think in Black Panther 2, he's definitely going to play a role. The fact that AO said, don't show up in Wakanda for a little while, I think that's going to definitely drive some tension and maybe be called out in the next movie. Before we get into our final thoughts and some of our predictions, I just want to bring up one last thing. Is we also get Isaiah Bradley finally gets his recognition, and it's not like in the books where only the black community knew who Isaiah Bradley was and what Isaiah Bradley did. He's now in the Smithsonian Memorial or Museum with his own statue and his own section dedicated to him, with all the work that he's done, but also the sacrifices he had to make and the contribution that he made for the country, but also to the whole the whole thing basically. And what was definitely cool, and this is how we're gonna wrap things up, is one of our predictions, and it's gonna be his grandson, which is Eli or Elijah. Like, if you will notice, his collar is actually red, white, and black, or maybe a dark blue. That is a definite call out to the Patriot, who is part of the Young Avengers. So we know there's going to be a Young Avengers, movie coming up for sure. They've already, set up Hawkeye. They've already set up Wiccan, Speed. So now they're going to also bring in Patriot as well. Another character that may also show up later on, who might end up being a villain or not, is, if you've noticed, when the van with the Flag Smasher goes, there's only 3 of them inside there, whereas we know one of them is in the river. There's actually somebody who mentions to Sam, hey, there's one Flag Smasher who's still in the river. Can you go fish him out? He's, seems to be causing a ruckus. So when they said, or when they announced in the media that all 4 Flag Smashers, died in the explosion, it's not actually true, because we know that one is still in the river. So we may see this character, or at least the Flag Smasher, evolve as we go forward. Another thing to bring up with that is that the Flag Smashers have established this new, Hydra, if you will, by everyone secretly, mentioning or saying, one people, one world, one people. So this is a whole new movement, and again, it's going to come up again. It's not going to disappear because the Flag Smashers are gone. It's something that's going to grow, and I think it's already planted the seed. So that's what Carly is all about right now. It's planting those seeds, despite, her being gone. And now those seeds are going to flourish and, may cause bigger havocs for, whoever it is within the MCU or just the government in general. At the end, we also get an end credit scene where Sharon is being pardoned. She also gets her old job back, so within the CIA, or I guess within S.H.I.E.L.D. So now she has access to all of their data, all of their information. She also gets access to, prototype weapons and all that information. So it's going to be, all the more crazy all the more power to her now. So she's definitely going to be a big villain, We are going to end things with one final thing. It's Marvel announcing that there will be a Captain America 4. So this is just fresh, straight off the presses. We don't know exactly where it fits within the Phase 4, if it even fits in a Phase 4 to begin with. But Anthony Mackie definitely killed it, definitely nailed it. This was a great Captain America. He had the great, heroic moves. He does, the barrel rolls. He also gives great speeches, as Ant-Man might say. And the actor himself, Anthony Mackie, has been getting like crazy love from ever since episode 5 all the way to, I guess till now, of his rendition of Captain America, and also, being Sam Wilson. So it's just great to see, these actors get some more love, but also recognition and also support for, taking on these bigger titles and bigger roles as they go along. We would also appreciate your support by hitting the like button, but also if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so and hit that notification bell. This way, when our next video comes out, you'll be first to know, because Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and that's right, the last Easter egg is at the very end of the show. It doesn't say Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it says Captain America and the Winter Soldier, because he is the Captain America. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't change Winter Soldier to something else, but I guess it was just fitting, and I guess, it made it all the more, stand out in that way. But it is sadly over. There isn't going to be any more episodes. It was a finale, and it was amazing. That being said, we actually have some crazy stuff coming up for the next episode to come. So we do have, as we had artists on our show, these are all being lined up, and we are super excited. Finally, we get to share this with you guys. So definitely stay tuned. And we definitely would love also if you were to share this to as many people as you'd like, or you think who would enjoy it, because that's how we're going to get the channel to grow. But also, we're also going to have these artists recognize our channel as a place to be showcased and, have some fun with us as well. So in the comments below, please let us know, what did you think of the finale? But also, which artists would you like to have on our show? We're definitely going to reach out to them. we're definitely gonna, see if we can have them on, and I don't see why not. And we'll definitely also showcase their art. So please stay tuned and check us out. Peace.